Welcome to ISRA League's Grand Touring Championship, brought to you by the Z1 Simwheel LCD display software. You can go to z1simwheel.com and purchase this software that you can get these telemetry displays and dashboards for your sim rig, as well as some other fine products that they make. You can find it all at z1simwheel.com. Well, this is the opening of Season 12. Yes, for those of you who've been paying attention, we're skipping the rest of Season 11. Sorry, we got behind. But we've got a very exciting season coming up here. 12 races in it. It's the HPDs in Class 1, and the combination of Ford GTs and Mclarens, well balanced this time, in the second class. I'm Daniel Paroni, and with me here tonight are Anthony Muniz.
Welcome back, everyone.
And Brian Carey.
Hello.
All right, we see the cars lining up there on the grid as we're going to, of course, we don't have standings to start off here, so we'll see our qualifying and actually the map in just a moment. And you've got some very nice looking Mclarens. Check out those brand new paints. And Brian, take it on Daytona.
All right, well, everyone seems to be familiar with the oval here. This is the site of the Daytona 24-hour race every February, beginning of speed weeks at Daytona. I think it's the beginning. I know they have a bike race there. Regardless, it's the Grand Am, and will soon be the United Sports Car main event. Anyways, International Horseshoe, turn number 3, the bus stop, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is just all one kind of corner there, and then a lot of the oval here. So a lot of the oval, very fast. The HPDs are going to get knocked into the track quite a bit with the downforce there, so a lot of sparking coming from them. More of a GT track itself, but should be a good race.
Well, let's check out the qualifying. We've got Duljan Boldrin returning in the HPD, and he's on pole with 134.198. Andy Ford is next to him on the front row, then Brian Carey and Daniel Santos on the second, Arthur Hermont and Jeremy Burris on the third, Victor Beltran on the fourth.
Timothy Stoll's on pole for GT3, starting alongside Daniel Vernaz. Todd Carver and Mike Young on the second row. Mike Kelly and Daniel Gralty on the third. Michael, if we say it German as
Mitchell
Weirich, something like that, yes. Mitchell.
We call it Mitchell.
You're there, yes. And other cars were along the way as also.
Mitchell had a run with, probably he's one of the older ISRA members there. I remember running against him in Season 5. I don't think he ever stuck around for Season 6 when Anthony ended up starting up, so new to Anthony, but he's a old hat at ISRA, so it's good to see Mitchell back in the series.
No, indeed, I do believe he is in the military and got shipped off for quite a while there and missed a couple seasons, but of course, something much more important to be doing.
I guess we all have excuses.
Well, anyway, thank you for your service and welcome back.
It looks like someone has died on the side of Luke Berlin's car there, or that's just...
No, he's killed someone.
With the side of his car. It's like, the victory flags that, you'd find on World War II fighters.
Bingo.
There's my shiny new car there, and for some reason we don't have Andy's paint scheme. We never have Andy's paint scheme. I don't know what... I'm sure he has one, but...
we have a next race.
Yeah. I think, it'll probably show up next race. And that's number 44 there, Keith Horner in a very white car. Number 46, which I believe, or is that 45 of Chris Mills? John Kelly and Lance Snyder. Lance Snyder bringing back the Iron Maiden. Ed Force 1 has returned to the series, which is good to see.
The number 6 car starting alongside the 666 car. Lance taking advantage of the new 3 number option there that iRacing has added.
With his new funding that he's now receiving from Satan. Long pace lap here, folks, so we'll be getting to the start any hour or two.
At least it does away with the need for the zeros at the beginning of the numbers, so we'll actually be able to lock on to people.
Yeah, that does help. I mean, it opens things up quite a bit. I mean, the leading zero is more of a NASCAR thing, I feel, than anything else. And I guess that's Daniel Santos there in the white and black car. I'm not... Daniel's raced with us before. I think he may have, but I apologize. It's been a little bit. Leading Duljan Boldrin, who is our ISRA World Challenge champion in the Cadillac. The last season we ran there earlier in 2013, and he is a previous HPD driver as well. Ran the Mclaren last year, not nearly as successfully as he is in the other cars, so good to see him back out front. Well, that's in this race. I'm behind him, so not that good to see him up front, but you get the idea.
We've got an hour 30 on the clock. This is our new race length for Enduros this season, and the cars are off and running. Hamilton getting a nice run at the beginning there.
Oh, that turn one that they're entering right now, you can see it on board. Cold tires, this thing is going to be demonic because it's demonic as it is on warm tires, and it looks like everyone's that we've seen so far has got through, and 3 times as demonic for Lance's car, obviously, but looks like everyone's successfully got through as Arthur Hermont kind of pulls ahead in there of Jeremy Burris, and everyone else seems to, well, falling in line, the GTs now.
And over on the right side of Lauren Bateman, we have Chuck Chambliss. He's on the inside and probably will win out this corner. Don't quite see him out there on the right, though. And Lauren Bateman is going to have the advantage. No, Chuck Chambliss falling back, and wow, didn't expect that.
Lauren Bateman has a sweet car. That is a good-looking classic Ford GT right there from the GT40s back in the day, the golf paint scheme. I really love that livery in that car. And we have Martin and honestly, Avon? For some reason.
Avon, I think if it's French,
yeah,
maybe?
That makes sense, but I'm going to have to consult my French pronunciation guide here.
Aren't you Canadians supposed to know all this?
Yes. And while Dan's talking there, unfortunately Dan and John Kelly have got together in the back straight there, heading towards the bus stop, and I believe that's the end of both of their races. So unfortunately, short race for our colleague Corona here as Luke Poulin back in the series behind Carla Mumbauer in another sweet-looking car in the Marlboro livery there. So some good paint schemes going on in the GT3 class. Poulin stalks his prey.
And on board with Lauren Bateman now as he is chasing down Mitchell Weirich. He's got a nice run. He's going to take a peek to the outside heading into turn 1. Very tricky place to pass on the outside, and I don't think it's going to happen. I can see both the drivers a little squirrely under braking. Actually, I think Chuck manages to get up on the inside there and makes the pass on Lauren Bateman. I think that might have been a little opportunistic and not actually planned there by Chuck, but very well done move nonetheless. Stoll getting wide going through turn 3, the horseshoe. Looks like he's going to lose out a spot there to Verness, who is on the outside challenging.
Here, he's going to win it.
Now Verness keeps it on the right side though. Oh nope, Stoll does win out eventually in the end as they make their way into turn 5.
Yeah, I don't think those GT cars can hold on there well enough to keep the full speed.
Now, just so you guys at home are following here, this is a number 80 of Arthur Hermont. He is Brazilian teammates with the class leader right now, Doljan Boldrin, overall leader, in the 8. So not a lot of differential between those two cars. Very similar paint schemes and very similar numbers, so we'll have to pay attention to that when we're watching them. We'll have to watch next time we see Doljan to see if we can see like helmets, wing mirrors, that sort of thing that are different.
And Hermont has a great run on Santos as they head down over the timing line. Let's see if he is better under braking, because it looks like Hermont is pulling back just a little bit. But Hermont gets the pass done over Santos into turn 1, and better under the brakes there, and that moves him up into P4.
Yeah, there we go. The teammates, Daniel Verness is now behind Mike Kelly. He was challenging for the lead with Tim Stoll, but obviously he fell behind. So turn 1 Heroes cars there. I don't know if, I think Tim Stoll, there he is up ahead, so you can see those white, red, and blue turn 1 Heroes cars, very similar paint schemes. And 2 different cars, Mclarens and Ford GTs, so it's good to see good interclass battles now.
Yeah, I touched on it briefly in the intro, but they've weighted the McLaren down, I believe, with 140 kilograms. So now the performance is pretty equal between the 2 cars, and we should see some great battles between them. Unlike last season, where the Ford GT was by far the slower choice.
Yeah, the thing with the McLaren, the adding the weight there is, it is quite a substantial bit of weight, and ideally... Oh, what happened here? We're kind of quiet.
Benoit vanished, and unfortunately we're still watching him. That hasn't happened in quite a while. It's supposed to catch that situation.
I think he might have disconnected here. Oh, side by side going into the chicane there with Daniel Verness. Excuse me, Jeremy Burris.
Yeah, there you go. Daniel Santos.
Daniel Santos and Jeremy Burris. Like, wow, those. Okay, anyways, I will make a few more of those mistakes in the race, but I guess what we were saying, oh yeah, like McLaren, because of the weight, ideally you'd want to do it with a little, you know, balance and maybe a little bit of weight, a little bit of horsepower, so it's a little bit more equal. We have to do it with all weight, which kind of throws the setups that we had last year out of whack, and they are correctable. Most tracks is not a problem. Daytona, because of the amount of compression that they have and the extra weight, really plays havoc on the suspension, hitting the end of the suspension travel there. So McLarens, while fast in a straight line, are difficult to control here, so watch out for that as the 90 minutes go past.
Yeah, as we watch a good battle between Brent Browse chasing Lance Snyder here for, what is that, 10th position. Let's just make a quick add-on comment to...
He missed the bus stop.
Yeah, missed the bus stop there, so he's taking the time penalty. Just to add on to Brian's statement about the extra weight, kind of playing a little bit of havoc with some of the McLaren setups. I think sometimes you forget that the McLaren already has balance of performance on to make it a GT3 spec car. So they've already done horsepower reduction and added on weight. So sometimes some tracks it will throw the car out a little bit. Ooh, there's someone off there in a McLaren.
Looks like
a couple cars off there in a McLaren. So that turn one has claimed its first victim that we've seen so far tonight. Couple cars actually, and looks like hopefully they've been able to get on without too much of an issue. Chuck seems to have some fairly heavy damage on his car. Mitchell may have gotten away better than that. He did. We'll have to see. His car looks fairly clean, but Chuck definitely has damage.
This is really back things a lot as Matthew Voigt and the 27 of John Kuzlin go through, and my frickin' screen thing went black for some reason. I didn't keep moving my mouse here. Yeah, so that accident has bunched things up a bit, but it looks like the GT field was already pretty bunched up. Big drafting battle here in those classes. As speaking of drafting, Brent Browse getting a great run on Lance Snyder, but it's I don't want to say how hard it is. It's hard to say it cleanly, but it is hard as fill in the blank there to pass anyone in turn one. As hard as that just to drive into turn one by yourself, but passing someone is very difficult, as you can see from Brent right there.
And despite the damage, you can see Chuck Chambliss still soldiering on in that McLaren. And he has the 45 of Christopher Mills just on the outside as they head towards the bus stop with, is that Mitchell just behind in that car? I will learn his car eventually, but I think that's who that is. Ooh, Chambliss probably going to get a corner cutting penalty there. He took a lot of curb, and he's going to pull way up high on the top of the track. Looks like Christopher Mills also having to serve a course cutting penalty as he loses a couple positions.
That's his second run in 2 laps.
Yeah, bunched off. It was a tough corner. Those guys were all in the McLarens there too. So that, like I say, keep in mind is very, very high speed, very high banking, and that's where it's going to happen the most. The slower corners and the flatter corners, not nearly as much. But once you start putting a little bit more load into those, like Anthony said, already strained suspensions, you're going to see a little bit more of that. And as the fuel burns off, it'll lessen the effect. So later in the runs, they won't have nearly as much problems. But beginning of the run, they'll be fast. They'll have lots of grip, but they'll be inconsistent. The tires will wear out. They'll be a little bit more consistent, but they'll be a lot slower. So it'll be an interesting dynamic as the race progresses.
I think it works out to roughly 1 extra tank of fuel the McLaren is carrying with the 140 kilograms. So definitely changes the handling dynamics of that car. But
it's actually a tank and a half, almost exactly.
Is it a tank and a half? Okay. Yep. Wow, so it was more than I thought it was. So yeah.
Because we have also too, for those who are iRacing members who are watching this, all the cars are limited to 70% of their normal fuel capacity. So which means instead of 60 kilograms for the HPDs, it's 42. Instead of, I don't remember what it is. For McLaren, it's now 91.
130 liters is the McLaren tank.
Oh, liters. So
yeah, it
is now 91 liters. And then Ford GT, I honestly have not even the faintest idea how much fuel that carries. Because I normally do that. This is what I do in the iRacing thing, because you can do it in either imperial or metric units. Typically what I try to do is run the car in whatever units it was designed in. So the Ford is designed imperial, the McLaren designed metric, and the LMP designed metric. So doing calculations between the two is kind of hard, as Mike Young tries to go around Todd Carver and he's not able to make it happen.
That's a fight for second place in GT3, and meanwhile Brent Browse and Lance Snyder are still glued together. think I can just make out the tether that is keeping those two guys together. Now Brent Barrow is actually getting a run on the inside of Lance Snyder going into the bus stop, and he's finally able to complete the pass on Snyder and take away that 9th position.
Yeah, but Lance is going to have a good run coming out of the corner because Brent had to slow up entering it, and Lance is getting out of the draft a little early here. You need to get more of a run. There's a lot of wind here. We're using weather this season in this series, and there's a lot of wind out here today at Daytona, and it was headwind they're going into right now. So what that does too is it slows them down in a straight line, but it also pushes them into the track. So if you're able to get in behind someone in a draft, it lessens the downforce, which lessens the rolling friction on the ground, as Brent goes on the inside there, so Lance isn't able to do it. But what it does is it lowers the rolling friction in the car, so it increases speed, but also because they're no longer in a headwind, it really increases that draft effect. And it was one thing I noticed a lot in practice, falling behind someone. It was just like a slingshot behind another LMP going behind him through that corner. Turns 3 and 4 in the oval, turns 13 and 14 on the road course. Turn 12 on the road course. Because if it's an oval, it's turns 3 and 4, but on the road course, it's just turn 12. I don't get that.
Oh, when someone goes around there, going back onto the oval after the road course section. I missed who that was.
Yeah, I was looking at my track map, so I was not looking at my timing monitor there, so I don't know if I can help with that. Looks like Mike Young may have it done.
I have to be brave. No, he was early on the brakes there into turn 1, and
Todd has run wide.
Yep, let's see if he can force it up on the inside there. Wasn't quite able to get the power down. It's Todd's just holds on to that. Well, actually, they're fighting for 4th place now. That was 2nd, so they've obviously lost a couple of spots there to Mike Kelly and Daniel Verness, who could see just up in front of them. Interesting.
Yeah,
we missed how that happened.
Yeah, running 1, 2, 3 right now with Todd Carver, Mike Young, and Dan Grolty. Both ISRA team members there, as Keith Horner Jr. Always a big fan of Keith Horner Sr. in these back in the early days of racing.
Oh, and just holds on to that, and I think let's see if he's gonna John Middleton's gonna get the undercut. Doesn't look like it because we've switched cars, so that was he did a good job to hold on to that. Someone plowing into the cones there going into turn 5.
Look like Santos, and that's Weirich. And someone has gone off behind him too. This is the battle for the lead, folks. That's Tim Stoll up in front in the 77, Mike Kelly in the number 2 right behind him. And Mike Kelly should be in a perfect position here to get the maximum effect of the draft, because by the time he gets out of the oval bit here, turn 12, he should be pretty close to the back of him. Maybe a little closer would have been ideal, but here we come into the tri-oval part. He's going to go high, and he does have a run, but he is on the outside, so breaking out there this early in the racing your teammate would be kind of, that'd be ambitious at best. They say Mike Young is 3rd. Doesn't seem right, because he's definitely not 3rd, because he was behind Tom Carver. Now he's spun, and he's further back. And that is, that's a terrible place to spin, because you can't back up because cars are coming and you're right up against that wall.
Yeah, nothing he can do there but wait for all of the cars to cycle by. And I can see there's more cars coming into that turn 1 complex right now, so let's see if he's still waiting or if he's able to find a bit of a gap. Okay, so he's able to find a bit of a gap to get himself to the other side where there's more room, able to recover, as there is a close battle there between, I believe that was Victor Beltran and Jeremy Burris, mixed up with a couple GT cars, John Kuzan, I think, being one of them.
I do enjoy saying Victor Beltran if you say it with just a slight bit of an accent.
On board with Tim McLeish, and he is battling with Jerry Morserv, who I believe, see if we can't catch a track. Oh, well, we're going to switch. But keep an eye out for a track camera view of his car. I think he's running a special livery job. Oh, as Brendan Long leaving too much space for some prototypes and drives himself off the track.
Yeah, that's a tough corner there. Is normally you brake a little bit on the inside going into, I'll figure out what the turn is later, 2 corners from the, I guess
5.
turn 6. 5 is a 5? Okay.
Yep.
breaking into there. But if you get a little bit to the outside, you're still on the track, but it's very, very bumpy. And the corner kind of the braking zone curves a little bit to the right. So it gets a little bumpy on the left-hand side of the track, and it tends to push you out into the grass there. There's Jeremy Burris and Sam Dignan is battling here. Sam with a very interesting looking car. Looks like a Cincinnati sponsored car. Is that who that is? University?
I do not know.
I'm going to say yes, that's Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. But I could just be talking about it. Oh, that's Luke Poulin. Okay, well, it looks like he had an LMP coming up on the inside there. It seemed like a very strange spot to be moving over to the right-hand side of the track there, but Lance Snyder was coming up to make a pass. So, small bit of contact there with Mike Young, and Mike Young loses another position to Karl Mumbauer in the Marlboro-sponsored McLaren. Even though he had Jägermeister before, and I have consumed Jägermeister before, I find Marlboro's revolting. But at the same time, I love their logos. That is just a classic motor racing scheme.
Have you ever tried Marlboro tea?
Marlboro tea?
Yeah, you just, bust open a cigarette, throw it in a cup with some hot water.
Excuse me, I have to take a break while I barf everywhere. No, that's a... honestly, Canadian cigarettes and American cigarettes have a lot of different smells, and I can tell within like 100 feet of someone smoking a Marlboro because it is just absolutely putrid. Not like Canadian cigarettes smell like roses, but it's just such a... it's terrible. And actually, for those smokers here who are listening from Canada, yes, I know the Export A Green Death also smells terrible, but it's just a different sort of... They're both terrible. I'm not a big cigarette person.
Oh, bit of contact there between Dignan and Beltran.
Oh, that's the thing, is you got a lot of room to run side by side, but up ahead was a Ford GT, and looked like Dignan was trying to make room, and a little bit of side by side, but it looks like they got away with it because we obviously cut away to Tim and Jerry Mooresdorf up ahead in that newly painted. That's very nice from the Whoop-Ass Racing guys there. I know Brent had a different car, but I know Brent had the same car, but this is a very nice car from Jerry.
Yeah, I believe it's a special livery. We haven't really. I don't really want to spoil it because it's if we get a good shot of it, I think it'll be pretty cool. But hopefully we get a good shot of that as Mike Young and Luke Poulin fighting for 7th position.
Yeah, just so you guys know at home, I'm pretty sure it's not like what James Cullen debuted as
It's
Spock.
not. No, it's not like that. No,
much better than that.
Yes.
Nothing's better than the Beeb.
There are quite a number of things. Quite a number.
You can tell that is a sore spot with all Canadians.
Not more so than my old... Tim Carver off the track. And look at him just destroy that pylon there. That thing was going like 1,000 miles an hour. That was cool. Not for Todd Carver, obviously. He's going to have to slow down. And not for this guy. Who are we looking at? Number 9.
Brendan Long. Newcomer to the series. Where is this at? This is obviously in the road section. I believe that is between turns 3 and 4. Probably the exit of turn 3. Yeah, that's a fairly easy place to spin if you get a bit offline, run wide there.
Jerry Mooresdorf coming in some traffic.
That reminds me, did you guys get a chance to see, I don't remember if it was Finnish or somewhere else, but there was a video of a road rally, and man, this Porsche just goes right into a Jersey barrier into a river.
Oh yeah, I think that was in Finland, wasn't it?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's pretty crazy.
I saw the video being posted, but I haven't actually watched that one yet.
That one was nuts. If you watch it, and they show it in slow motion, you can see the Jersey barrier actually like flexes when it gets hit.
John Kuzla not having a very good race right now in a Ford GT in 16th place, so must have had an incident earlier in the race because that's not where we expect to see John Kuzla in racing. Like I was saying before, those who watch Christopher Mills run a little bit wide here, but no, when there's one of the Bieber, our ISRA colleague Ryan Corns, who may be watching this at some point, and I will enjoy telling this story to everyone who's listening. But for someone who professes to hate the Bieber and, for instance, Miley Cyrus, his Facebook feed is like 90% Bieber and Miley Cyrus about how dumb they are. And I don't know, maybe if they're that dumb, maybe I should not post about it on my feed all the time so I don't have to see it. That's literally all I know about anything that ever happens is because Ryan has posted it on his Facebook. Perhaps in an effort to be ironic, but it's starting to get a little weird. Man, if I ever saw that car out in real life, I would probably try to hump the hood. That is just fantastic. Loving that Marlboro car. Just a weird segue there. He is running down John
Kuzlin, yep. It says Ford GT just up in front.
Wait, maybe John Kuzlin's not being scored, because I don't see him in the timing of scoring. Him was 16th on our screens, but why was he racing close to John Kuzlin? Because Karl Mumbauer is sitting in 8th position right now.
Well, that could be. Well, it scored him in 17th, though, which normally if they aren't scored, it doesn't say. But yeah, I see what you mean. Because, well, now where did he go?
Did they have pit stop?
Scoring's a little weird right now.
Dan, the cyborg director, what's going on? He looks sick.
I don't know.
All right, well, we're just going to ride with it, folks, because now Daniel Verness is battling with Tim Stahl. Mike Kelly having made a pit stop, I believe. No, maybe not a pit stop, because he's only 14 seconds back. He must have made a mistake somewhere. So that's way too short to be a pit stop, but way too far to be just a normal passing thing. So Daniel Verness looked like the Ford GTs are starting to come back to these Mclarens.
Yep, Todd Carver just about 3.5 seconds back from Verness at the moment. So another Ford GT up in the top 3. Yeah, what is it? It's McLaren, Ford GT, McLaren, Ford GT in the top 5. So a pretty good mix there, as it looks like Verness is going to fairly easily take the lead away from Stoll. As long as they both hold on to it going through turn 1, they do. So that is Verness up into the lead of GT3.
Yeah, like I said, this is where the McLarens typically will have their tire wear will be a little higher. Ford GT, I think, gets a little faster into the run. As I say that, we have Mike Young going around Matthew Boyd. Who, by the way, I just also like to point out to Matthew Boyd, is possibly the loudest on mic talker in the ISRA. Mostly in practice, though. In the race, he's normally pretty good, but he scares the bejesus out of me every so often. If he has a close call in practice, more than likely I've crapped my pants because he's yelled so loud into his microphone.
Oh, and I think our timing screens are working correctly. Again, John Kuzlin and Karl Mumbauer are now in 11th and 12th. So I think those are correct now.
Oh, maybe Carl had a pit stop and he was just out of his pit stop, so the last time he came across the line. But that doesn't make any sense either because we live timing here.
Yeah, it might have just been a little glitch. I think it's correct now.
I don't know why I'm apologizing for our cyborg director.
There's the livery.
And what is that, Anthony? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, that's thanks ISRA for 10 seasons. You can see the number 10 there on the side. So that's his season 12 for Jerry Morsdorf is his 10th season here. I don't know if that's all consecutive. I want to say that it is, but I don't know that for sure. But he's definitely one of the longest running ISRA GTC members.
That's a good spot, because honestly I had no idea that's what he had on there. I must have missed that in our... That's good. And also, speaking of new cars here, that's Ryan... excuse me, not Ryan Huff. Keith Horner's new sim racing... excuse me.
Nation.
Yeah, I just had to burp a little bit. Sim Racing Nation car. It's a very nice looking McLaren there, as well as Marty Jeffries, number 47. So good to see Keith Horner with the Sim Racing Nation colors on here in the series. And I do like the fact we're starting the season here in Daytona, because really the paint schemes kind of pop here at Daytona under the lights. It's really a good showcase for our...
Ooh, stay off the wall. Okay, I think he did. Not that me shouting at him now helps, but
That's right. One of my good buddies here when watching, huge Toronto Maple Leafs fan, which must have been frustrating for him all his life. But every time he watches, his main instruction is he yells continuously at the TV to score a goal. It helps sometimes, I think, maybe, but not a lot. And Tim McLeish's gone back to his traditional steam whistle paint scheme there.
Which we will not speak of again the rest of this season because of Brian's bitterness towards that company.
I'm over it. I've moved on to other beers that I can try to plug mercilessly online, and hopefully they'll do that. And actually, I'll say right now that I've been in contact with an unnamed beer company from the Greater Toronto area that I was hoping to put on my car and get them to send. Wasn't happy with the logos that I had available online, so I tried to get them some higher quality ones, and finally got a response after 3 weeks, which the lady happily said, "Here you go, Brian. Hope you can use these, and I'd like to see if you could, the finished product." Except she didn't actually attach them, and that was a couple weeks ago, and I haven't heard back. So I didn't actually get the logos. So we'll see if she ever emails me back. Nope, that's going to be a corner cutting penalty for Herman, so he's going to stay low, and that's going to cost him some places. As someone went past
and, okay, that's it. Yeah, good thing he got back onto the track there before they hit the full banking, because that could have been messy.
Yeah, it's a pretty steep thing. That was Jeremy Burris, by the way, that got by, and there's Victor Beltran.
Victor Beltran.
Yeah, see, it's way more fun. Sam Dignan, he's chasing down here, and we'll see if he's able to put a move on. A little helping a tow from Keith Horner's McLaren.
You should have emailed the rep from the unnamed brewery and said, you're not using Gmail because it didn't remind you to attach the files that you said you were going to. Always a useful feature.
You know, I've never noticed that. I'm sure I've used Gmail and just forgot to attach stuff, but maybe I haven't.
Yeah, well, I don't. Maybe.
Wish I had that at work, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
If you write something in the email that says, like, see attachment or something like that, then it'll tell you.
Yep. Did you forget to attach your file or whatever?
Maybe I don't use the word see attachment. I just say, here it is. And Gmail's not smart enough to read my mind just yet. Google is trying.
I'm sure it will be. Give it a couple more years.
Don't call that lack of effort on their part.
No, that email only works for Anthony Weiner, actually.
Oh. Poor Anthony Weiner and his creep. He is possibly the creepiest looking man in the world. Like,
yeah, it could be.
I mean, like, it's
one of them.
Sorry, Carlos Danger is the creepiest man in the world.
There's gotta be a beer that can capitalize on and put it in their ads. Man, I can't talk. To go up against the Dos Equis ads.
Ironically, is Victor Beltran. Let's see if he's able to pull us off here. Digna's got the outside. Looks like he's in good position here.
So
he's going to try. He's going to try. That's ballsy, but I don't think he's going to have enough room on the outside. But he's got a good run coming off. We've got some GTs, and really, I don't see good happening from this, but probably end
close
up
racing. But yeah, it kind of with the GT car there, it kind of took the available track room down to one line, so he's going to have to follow him through and try again. But he's Mr. Beltran looking very racy tonight.
Speaking of trying again, looks like Daniel Verness is going to have to try to get around Tim Stoll again.
Yeah, I'm surprised we missed a pass for the lead.
Yeah, we cut to it right after. You can see Verness has, well, no, I guess they both have the number 1 on there because although we've classed them correctly in our timing screens here, iRacing still classes them differently, so they'll both be leading their respective car classes. And Verness made that look easy. Well, not easy, he's not past him yet, but got to the inside pretty easily.
Oh, he is now.
We haven't even been racing for half an hour yet, folks, and we've had a ton of action, so it's a good start to our Season 12 season. Or Season 12 season. I'll say season a few more times in consecutive order. Season.
Man, those HPDs look fast right after watching on board from GT.
Oh, yeah, wait until we see them going around Montreal. I'm sure that's going to be even more dramatic compared to GTs.
I Actually, no, I'm not even sure because there's a lot of corners there. Like that bus stop is, you go through there so much faster than the GT cars. Montreal, the corners are a little bit more abrupt. So, I mean, you go, past them in the straightaway and faster over the lap. But, Beltran's trying to gain, folks. He's going to go back the inside. Oh, not going to get it done. Dignan's now wise to his tricks.
You know where I think it's going to look fast is in between whatever that was, like corner 2 and 3.
Yeah, what would that be? Corner 4 or 5, actually. That's long sweeping right-handed.
Yeah, that's going to look faster between those walls where it's all narrow.
Yeah. Sure looked faster when we were running. I will not give away anything about the race itself, which was run yesterday, so it took a week behind today's broadcast. But yeah, it was a new track, and all I could say is that the multi-class racing was definitely better than I had expected.
Let's stay tuned, folks. That's coming up real soon now.
Hey, look who it is.
It's me.
I used to be able to do a Mario exactly like him. I don't think my voice goes that high anymore. But you must be making a pass on Mr. Fuller in the pit lane. Yep, there he is. Oh no, that's not him exiting. But he is in the pits, so Brian getting by up into second place now.
Yeah, we're running basically identical setups, but I think for fuel mileage reasons, he had his hand out the window or something like that, and it was a little bit more drag, or I don't know. Well, he's faster though, so I shouldn't say that too much. But strangely, not get. Actually, I shouldn't say strangely because I know his driving style is he uses a lot more throttle under braking, especially in turn 1 there. So, I mean that adds up over a run. I was about a lap ahead of him on fuel. Good battle here. We've got Luke Poulin, Chuck Chambliss, and John Kuzlin. I don't know if Chambliss is in that battle or not. He's just being lapped.
Yeah, I think so. And Kuzlin falling back behind those cars.
And that pit lane exit is just stupid narrow. Like, it really is. Like, there's no reason for it to be that narrow.
And Daniel Gralti there exiting the pit lane. He comes out in 9th position. Also, Gralti, another driver that has a different livery this season. I think it's this season. We'll have to see if he goes back to the old Red Bull, but I think he has Wings for Life on his car this season.
It's a good choice for him there. Harder to differentiate between his teammate Mike Young, but
easier to differentiate.
I mean, wait, hold on. Yes, that is correct. Not
the cars look nothing alike anymore.
Next
I'm trying to think of what I was trying to say now, but no.
ISRA's GTC, Brian will learn the difference between near and far.
Near, far.
Good job, Brian. Now what's the difference between white and black?
And
it looks
Brian
like Andy
has
Fuller's
censored
gonna
himself
take back that
because I would have said something terrible.
No. Oh no, I have to censor that.
No casual racism. We don't want to go there, Brian. This is supposed to be family friendly, although I think we may have lost that rating a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, actually, there's some sportscasters that were my favorite. Oh, Lance Snyder into the pits, and is Brent Cullen coming in too? Yep.
Oh, he's going in fast. Will he break in time?
Yeah,
Yes, he does.
Yeah, here's the thing. The entry to the pit lane, I know it's because of the oval and the road course, but the entry is the widest thing in the world. You can fit 9 cars side by side. You come to the exit, and you're basically just like rolling along the edge of the grass at 2 miles an hour. Makes no sense. Anyways, what was I think I was saying something clever, but it's gone now. Oh, that's the first contact we've seen. Oh, teammates. Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, we totally all saw that. Sorry, Keith, but ooh. It'll be an awkward conversation later.
And it's going to be a race out of the pit lane between Mike Young and Michael Weirich. And Weirich
Mitchell.
out in first. Michael. I don't know why I said Michael. Yes, Mitchell. No, it's Mitchell. I read it, Mitchell, and I said Michael.
The sad thing is you're probably going to do that like another 10 times just because you're like in your head, you're just like, okay, he's on. Don't say Michael. Don't say Michael.
Yeah. Michael.
Damn it.
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Now, there's some people that I have at work. There's Lorraine and Louise, and I know exactly who they are, and I've known them for years, but I will still mix up their names pretty much 3 times a week. It's embarrassing every time. No, but what I was saying before is we're on board with Fangirlty here is Luke Poulin's entering the pits, so he'll make the pass there. But for those of you who watch Fox Sports Live on the new Fox Sports channel, Jayon Wright and Dan O'Toole used to be our morning newscasters on our Sports Center on TSN, not the ESPN version, the Canadian version. And now they're in the States, and it sucks for morning because they're by far my favorite sportscasters, and it's not the same anymore. Point is, they have a podcast, and they're used to the Canadian rules of the podcast, which really they don't care what you say exactly. I mean, there's certain lines you can't cross, but swearing and whatnot aren't a bad thing, or other such things. But apparently they've post-production of the podcast before they post them up is quite lengthy sometimes due to some of their actions and or language. And for instance, inappropriate acts with the doll from the movie Ted.
Oh, jeez.
So tune in at Fox Sports Channel on YouTube for the Jay and Dan podcast if you're interested in what the hell I'm talking about. It was episode 3 with watch it for no other reason than the host of the show, Carissa Thompson, is on that. And she's a mighty easy on the eyes, I'm going to say that right now.
Alright, we are back with some GT action. Matthew Voigt and John Kuzlin fighting for 12th position as Matthew Voigt just keeps them from sliding off towards that tire barrier. Good job.
By the way, as we're getting to about 8 minutes from halfway, I guess, and the first round of pit stops, I believe, have been completed by everyone. Well, I shouldn't say that because Mike Kelly, as we speak, is in the pits right now. Damn it, my screen went dark again.
Completed, being completed. It's close. Oh, there is a very nice close-up shot of the special livery there from Mooresdorf.
Yeah, it is really solid there. That's pretty cool. Whoop-ass, 10 years whoop-ass. That's what it is. 10 seasons of whoop-ass.
Yeah.
So anyways, what was I... Oh, man. I get sidetracked a little easy. We're at the... Oh, anyways. Pit stops, standings, the LMPs, which we haven't seen a lot of, aside from some battles, from like 7th on back. Bilgen Buldrin is leading about 8.5 seconds ahead of Andy Fuller, who's in a further 3.5 seconds of Brian Carey, myself, who's about 9 seconds ahead of Daniel Santos in 4th, Arthur Hermont in 5th, Jeremy Burris, Sam Dignan, Victor Beltran, Lance Snyder, Mark Briles in the top 10. There it is, battle for 9th and 10th, and 11th, Jerry Mooresdorf, so it's a nice 3-way battle for 9. And then right now, Tim Stahl is finally in the pits in the McLaren, and we'll see if Daniel Burness can overtake there. So they're in the midst of their pit stops, and we'll see how that shakes out in a few minutes here.
And Lance Snyder and Brent Briles still fighting it out, as they probably have been most of this race, although this time Snyder has got his way back in front of Briles. Here's a race for the lead in GT3, and Verness is going to just sneak up in front of Stoll to take the lead of GT3. That was a great race out of the pits.
Now remember, Stoll's got fresh tires in that McLaren, and they're going to be faster at the beginning of this run, so let's see if he's able to draft up behind him, going to the last part of the lap, and retake the lead. And I'll be in about a minute and 20 seconds from now. Oh, some Pass Racing teammates here. You've got Brent Briles and Jerry Morsdorf. Wish Matthew Voigt would bring back his nuclear exploding car. Blue Moon, it's a nice looking car, but I like the other one better. Now, these Ford GTs, they're so efficient in a straight line, the aerodynamics, is you get next to no draft. Actually, I'm just going to excuse myself for about a minute here. I just need to go get myself a beverage. I've been eating popcorn, and some of it has caught my throat.
Professionalism at its best.
That's why I get a drink. Hold on.
Hey, there's that nice golf livery that Brian mentioned at the top of the broadcast there with Lauren Bateman. He is, where is he at? Okay, well, he is not showing up on our timing screen for some reason, so he's either quite far down the GT3 field. Yeah.
He's showing up in 6th for me.
Yes, thank you, Dan. You can be the cure for my blindness, apparently. He was fighting with Mike Kelly, so that's a fight for the top 5. And the two teammates now going at it. Brent Briles holding on to that 11th position.
I like the Ford GT, but I just can't get over the mouth in front of it, like in the front, the air intake.
Yeah, it's doesn't do it for. Ooh, and this is Christopher Mills, very slow on the oval. You can see he has a lot of damage to the rear of his car. I think he's had that most of the race. I think I've caught that damage fairly early on, but he obviously has a problem. Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh, that's really dented.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Matthew Voigt has a bit of a bent wing as well, too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, Dan, going back to your point about the Ford, I don't know what it is, but I like this car in its normal road-going version. I do not like the GT trim for GT. Don't know why. The old one, you know, that was way back in the day, the Le Mans winner and all of that, I like the look of that, but this new one, I just don't. Not my thing.
That's when Lauren Bateman has it painted up in the golf scheme, and it looks nice.
Oh my goodness. That was a good save there by Morsdorf to not destroy his teammate. Not sure if he had a bit of a lapse in judgment there or what, but it was very late on, or missed his braking point is more like what happened.
Yeah, well, Tim Stoll hasn't been able to get back around Daniel Burness, but he hasn't let him go either, so we might have a shot here in the next couple laps, especially if traffic comes into play.
And a big gap between himself and Todd Carver, 13 seconds back to P3 in the GT3 class. And now back with Victor Beltran, running in 8th position, still fighting with Sam Dignan.
And my parents have just arrived back from their journey here, so they're actually get to see the inner workings of our commentary booth, which is kind of interesting.
Highly technical.
It's extremely technical.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Carey.
I'll hear you later. I've got my headphones on, so...
You can't see, but I'm waving at my screen.
Okay, well, I will let them know that you are in fact...
Oh, and more contact between Beltran and Dignan as they head into turn 1. I think it was fairly light, so hopefully avoided any damage between the two drivers, but that's the second time I've seen that happen. And Brent Briles now right back on under the rear wing of Snyder after having dropped back a little bit. I'm assuming through traffic. He's got a good run coming out of the bus stop. Trying to get all the draft he can. Ooh, and there's some GT traffic just up in front, so I think it's going to limit his passing opportunities. Yeah, there's Todd Carver there, staying nice and wide to let both those guys through, but there's zero opportunity for Bryles to make a pass attempt on Snyder.
Alright, well now we've got, we're almost at the halfway point of the race here. Now, like Dan mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, previously in ISRA we had gone on Enduros 2 hours and we'd had 2 of them a year, and then the rest of the races were either 70 minutes or 75 minutes. Now we have 3 Enduros, they're only 90 minutes long. Oh,
ha.
just...
Ha.
There's only so much we can do, Anthony. Anyways, he wants them much longer because he's young and able to handle such things. Anyways, here we are at halfway, but the rest of the races are 60 minutes long. So 3 Enduros at 90, and then 9 races at 60 minutes. With the pit stops and the fuel tanks and all that, obviously, it's enough for 2 pit stops, at least here in most cars, and only 1 at the other races. But that means we've just passed halfway, and our class leader in GT3 is Daniel Verness, still about 2 seconds ahead, as Matthew Voigt is taking a long way around turn 1 and has lost 2 places, it looks like, to John Kuzlin and Carl Mclaren.
Hey, look at that, Brian Carey. You can see he's actually pretty close to second place driver Andy Fuller, just up there in front in the green car, making their way through some GT traffic. This is probably the closest they've been in quite a while. There was a smaller gap opened up between those 2 guys once we got into the meat of the race, as it is. But they've closed back on that. Ooh, and Fuller running wide going through turn 5. Not quite a big enough mistake for Carey to get past. Oh, looks like they were also making their way through some lapped prototype traffic, so that could be another reason why they that gap has closed up just a bit.
Yeah, the traffic wasn't honestly too big of a problem. I mean, not hard to get around, but the bus stop definitely was a huge speed difference. By far, that's the biggest speed difference you'd have. And if you got caught behind a GT car going through the bus stop, you'd lose upwards of anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds, depending on how you caught them and where you caught them. So although Andy, for most of the run, and this is hold true for all the HPD cars, within a lap, you can easily fluctuate, plus or minus 5 seconds. So, oh man, Carl just destroyed that pylon, but magically the next time you come around, it will be back in place. So they have some very dedicated virtual marshals out there taking care of the track.
Doing all that work without a yellow flag.
Although I did feel at those of you who watched the Formula 1 race in Singapore this past weekend, that when Daniel Ricciardo nosed his car into the barrier, with no real damage except for a little bit of crumpled front nose that anyone could clean up with, and 2 guys could just pick it up, they had a ridiculously long safety car period, which I couldn't quite understand.
Didn't he break the nose off of the car, though?
His car?
Yeah, I think he actually severed the nose.
Yeah, but it came like, it was easy to pick up. Like, it wasn't like it shattered into pieces. He had his car, which was cleared out, and like the amount of pieces that could be cleared in, it was cleared up. Probably about 30 seconds.
Well, yeah, I mean, the safety car was out too long. It's because they had to let all of the lapped cars go by and then catch the back of the field. That's why it took so long.
It seemed cumbersome to me, particularly. More so than it had at other races.
Yeah, it's because of the, let the lapped cars by and then wait for them to catch up. That's why it seemed to take so long. Because he got out of his car right away, so he wasn't they had to have the safety car to get the car out of the barrier, but yeah, then it was out for too long.
Anyways, point is, our marshals here are better.
Although if you saw the race at Monza, Those marshals are hardcore. You see how fast they sweep. Oh, as Karl Mummer looks like he's gonna get past John Kuslin. I think he will. See if he holds on to it.
Yeah, Monza, they're pretty solid, but I think the best ones, the most hardcore ones, are still Monaco. Those guys are nuts.
I guess I didn't really notice because we had the red flag this season, and I don't remember past seasons, so we'll just not think about those. As Todd Carver moving himself up past, I believe that was Daniel Gralti. Yes, it was. That's for third place. Brian Carey making his way through some lapped prototype traffic. And, nearly spinning Matthew Voigt just in front of Andy Fuller. It's going to give Brian Carey an opportunity to pass Fuller. Has much better exit speed coming onto the oval, and I think that's going to be a pass, although we won't find out for sure. We'll have to see if Brian's able to hold on to that. As now Carver running wide into turn 5. I think that's turn 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making a pass. Why not look at Todd Carver?
So we had Verness and Carver run wide in the same corner. They both, Carver holds on, but Verness loses a spot rather. And now back to the fight for second place in LMP2. Looks like Fuller's going to take that back as they head down towards the tri-oval. And so Brian Carey briefly held on to second position and then lost it once again.
Like I was saying, that was the bus stop thing that was coming onto the oval, where I was able to gain a place and lost it again coming out on the bus stop. It was one of those things, just how traffic falls, but very nice to see my new nice blue paint scheme there. It looks cool under the lights. Shiny.
Brent Browse gets a great run on Lance Snyder. Exiting turn 3, they go side by side, and he takes away the position heading down into turn 5.
Yeah, and you can pull it off in the HPD.
Yes, you can. Yep, and that was a very good move. It took him a long time to actually get past. Snyder put up a tough fight, but that moves Bryles up into P9 and on P2.
Checking out the Mclaren swoosh and the lights there. Oh. See, getting onto the oval can be very tough. We saw that car spin towards the beginning of the race, and Timothy Stoll lost his traction trying to get the power down.
These guys are just kind of going back and forth. Now, just so you know, Andy has a paint scheme similar to Daniel and myself. It's kind of a variation of what Kaiser Rennsport ran back in season 10, just with some differentiating colors. I think basically it was the black, red, and white, or the silver, red, and black, I think. But added Dan's to be more kayak colors. Andy should be running a Google colored car, and very colorful at that. And then I've got the dark blue Libro colored car because the green car looked kind of silly. So
yep, and all of the those color combinations done by Brian this season. Decided to try his hand at doing some livery design.
Say livery design. Anthony's done the livery design. I've learned how into Photoshop to take his very detailed PSD files in Photoshop and edit them in such a way that the colors are mostly balanced.
Doorbell.
Oh, nope, that wasn't a doorbell. That was me hitting my beer on my popcorn bowl.
That's a very nice residence there.
That's good. Good frequency. I'll try not to do that.
That can be the noise that you make whenever you remember a point that you had forgotten.
Oh, Morrisdorf had a good run out of the bus stop on Lance Snyder, but it looks like he's losing it going high. And
yeah, he's taking a very high line. Yeah, too high of a line as he nearly loses it into the outer barrier there.
Maybe not having a lot of confidence on exactly where Lance was on his left, so decided to go as high as possible. Now Jerry is also he's one of our more consistent drivers, and he always has and is always in the running for Clean Driver Award. Partly because I don't think he takes any chances like that. I mean, he could have been a lot closer to Lance, but if he doesn't have the range of vision there, not sure exactly where Lance is going to be, doesn't want to push the issue because, yeah, well, he might be able to make up the one place. Good chance he could lose it altogether if he gets a little too close. So taking a more cautious approach, but can't fault it because Jerry does not make mistakes very often.
Mike Kelly getting a nice run on Lauren Bateman, coming across the timing line just now and into turn 1, gets the pass done and moves himself up into P5. And now we are getting down to the final stage, or the last third of this race. It's just about 34 minutes left, so we should be seeing LMPs be taking their final pit stops fairly shortly, I would think. Wasn't in this race, so I guess I don't exactly know what the strategy was, but I think it should be about this time. And a battle here between two Ford GTs, Matthew Voigt and John Kuzland, fighting over the 12th position in the GT3 class. And back on with Brian Carey. And that is that Fuller up there? Yes, and he is quite slow, so that means he must be serving a course-cutting penalty. So that moves Brian up into second position. Let's see how far Fuller drops behind Carey by the time that penalty is fully served. Looks like about just over 1 second right now, 1.2 seconds.
I like how my helmet looks on the onboards of the LMP.
You do or don't?
I do.
Okay. Yes, because your lines are so square and symmetrical, there's almost zero pixelation on your helmet, so it looks beautiful no matter if iRacing is compressing the textures or not. Whereas mine, where there's more... whoa!
Mike Young
nearly loses it. Oh, and
almost, too.
You nearly follow suit.
Someone dropped some oil, apparently.
Yeah, just back to... Yeah, I can see there's a different example there on Motorstor's helmet where there's some angles instead of all square lines. You get some pixelation there. You can see on Andy's helmet, pretty much zero pixelation. And when you get to a more complicated helmet with angles and stuff like that, like mine, you tend to get more pixelation unless there's the file or the textures aren't compressed at all. Which, depending on the circuit, sometimes they will be, sometimes they won't. And on the back of Brian's car now. Should really adjust the camera so we're looks like the camera's sitting on the those roll bars that are up there on top. Get a more of an F1
You get the rear wing and stuff.
Yeah. Because we're here, this is a great shot here. on board that's just sitting over the driver's shoulder. Kind of need the same sort of thing on the LMP cars. Plus, we get to see what's on the rear wing if drivers decide to put something on there a little bit more often.
Is that easy enough to do, Dan?
Oh yeah. The trick is, unfortunately, you can't save that camera position, so you have to remember to do it every time.
No, you can. You just have to save it over the normal car, the default car thing, and it comes up every time.
Oh, it's a car thing? It's okay,
yeah, it's not track related. It's a car camera file. So you just save it as the default one, and it'll load up every time.
I'm not sure I know how to access that, but I'll try to figure it out.
Okay. I can send it to you as well. I'll remember to do that for the next broadcast.
Cool.
Oh, and Burris and Arthur Hermont have found their way back to a fight. Currently fighting for the last of the top 5 positions. Hermont holding on to that position right now. I think the last time they were fighting for position, it was a little bit further back. So I'm not sure if they've either passed some people or made up a few spots because of attrition. But we'll go back to almost top of the prototype field with Fuller and Carey. Carey still holding on to that second position. But he's closing pretty quick on Brian. I think he's got the edge over Brian here at Daytona.
It would appear that way, wouldn't it? I see Jerry's really fast in this section here, but there's really not a very easy way for him to get alongside. Going into this international hairpin here, because it's so twisty in the run in, it's hard to get enough of a run to get alongside. You really have to time it right because it swings left, right really quickly. It's just very hard to do.
And back with the fight between Carey and Fuller. You can see the gap opened up a little bit there, probably passing a few GT cars. Like Brian said, those gaps in the prototypes can fluctuate quite a bit, overlap. You can see Brian really gets held up there behind Stephen Clark, and it's going to be an easy pass there for Andy Fuller, I would imagine. Looks like he got held up a little bit too, but he has more momentum over Carey, so he should have that pass made. Oh no, Fuller going to make his final pit stop with 28 minutes left to go. So Carey will hold on to that second place position for a little bit longer.
And what, 21 seconds behind the leader, Aldrin.
And for all of you Todd Carver Show fans, here is Todd exiting the pits. Oh, he loses a spot there to Timothy Stoll.
Whoa!
Does a bit of a flare drift for his fans on the way out.
Yeah, and then it goes from, like I say, the non-card wire pit entry to a crawl space on the exit.
And back with we're with Mike Young now. You can see Todd Carver just up in front. Young still to did the GT cars have to make 2 stops? Brian, do you know?
I don't know.
Well, yes. The like I said, utmost professionalism here. I think guys had to make 2 stops in GT as well. So Mike Young might be a little bit elevated than what he normally is. Yeah, Verness is also in the pits right now, so Yeah, GTs will definitely be making another stop. And Todd Carver quite slow heading down into the bus stop. That allows Mike Young to easily make his way past. Not sure Mike had a little bit of, or Carver had a bit of wheel spin coming off the corner, or what the reason is for that.
Who's that just drove by? Was it Burris?
No, that was not Burris. That was Sam Dignan. That's who that was.
Okay.
And the LMP, right? That's who you're talking about?
Yeah, I just didn't recognize it for that. It was quick, but I didn't recognize it that much.
Yeah, that was the car that you said was University of Cincinnati livery.
Yes. Okay, there you go. Just did look weird going past so fast.
Carl Mumbauer in his, it's what's going to be a very distinctive McLaren livery this season. He is racing with Kurt Gross, or Gross. I really need to ask him what the correct pronunciation of his last name is.
I think it's Gross.
Gross, okay.
You guys think they call the university USIN?
No.
That's what I'd do.
Just did. It doesn't have the ring that Yukon does it?
No, but it's trying to.
I don't think that's how they roll in Cincinnati. But maybe it is. I don't know. I've never been there.
If you are from Cincinnati, please let us know how you roll, so for future reference.
Also, I'd just like to point out that it took Dan about 1 hour and 6 minutes to roll out with that jump.
That's why we have these extra long races, so we have this extra time to come up with super funny content.
Maybe I just call it Natty.
Call it what?
Natty.
Let's go with Usain.
And we are now reached the pinnacle of the clever things we could possibly say during the broadcast.
Yep,
Just enjoy
that's
some
it.
Carl Mumbauer.
That's as good as it's gonna get. We've run out of ideas, so hope you enjoyed.
Well, we were enjoying Mumbauer, but apparently they do need to take 2 pit stops, so Mumbauer's in for his. Beltran about to get very slowed down here by Weirich. Oh no.
I believe that's Gralty.
Yeah, that's Gralty.
And his Wings for Life. Oh, and Beltran.
Oh, that looked weird. Like it looked like he accelerated suddenly.
I think it's the green ice of iRacing kind of just gave it that effect.
It's the wall gravity.
Very heavy walls here at a lot of mass in these walls here at Daytona. Actually, someone's got to use that in an actual post-race interview. Like, what happened in your accident? Can you explain what went on? I don't know, the wall gravity. I don't know what to tell you.
That would be pretty awesome.
Or you could just be like Casey Kane and stare blankly at the camera. Casey, what happened? I don't know. And then just look off into space.
Next question.
Casey, what do you do for a living? I was in a car or something. I don't know.
Hey, we were wrong. We had more clever stuff. Oh! And just keeps it off of the Armco there.
Man, Digna, that's a... in the USIN car, I guess, is what that is. Actually,
that's what it is now.
Give me a second. I'm going to look at the University in Cincinnati, make sure that I'm just not talking to my, whatever.
Mike Young, who is about 1.5 seconds back from Todd Carver. And I'm inclined to believe that most of the pit stops have taken place now. We have Verness still leading GT3 with Timothy Stoll and then Todd Carver, which seems right to me. Verness was in and out of the pit lane. Ooh, Stephen Clark. Ooh, nice save there going into turn 1. Manages to keep it off of the wall. Looks like he's going to lose a spot there to Marty Jeffries. And possibly Carl Mumbauer. Oh no, Mumbauer is actually ahead of these guys. So, ignore that.
Seriously, I went to search University of Cincinnati and Google broke. Hold on a second here.
Bearcat Motorsports, so maybe it's not what we think it is. Oh, that was ill-advised.
Oh, that's a big one. You know
That was
why?
contact between Victor Beltran and a Ford GT, I believe, of Lauren Bateman.
Sam Dignan.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Sam
know.
Dignan would be the other guy in the HPD he was racing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Digman was the perpetrator there. Contact with Victor Beltran and I believe it was Lauren Bateman in the Ford GT. Unaware
That's
of
Matthew
what
Holt
happened.
just taking a long road.
Doing a little bit of rallying. Yeah, it looks like Bateman in the pits, so I think that must have been an instant reset for him.
Oh, yeah, by the way, it is Cincinnati because Cincinnati is the Bearcats. So
Oh, okay, so never
I
mind.
feel very
You
smart.
were correct.
I was going to pick that out. I watch college basketball for 3 weeks every year during March Madness, and that's pretty much it.
So I'm assuming they must be in the Final 40 or whatever it is.
Anthony does not watch basketball, apparently.
No, I do not, as you can tell. I know that there's the Big Ten. That's about all I know. No, that's football. Never mind.
No, it's still basketball. It's college sports. So,
You can tell how much I care about college sports.
yes, quite a bit, apparently.
Oh, and Mike Young into the pits. So he has, in fact, not made his way up into P4 for GT3, which is unfortunate. Let's see, he's actually got a fairly sizable gap between himself and Gralty, so he may come out just behind and into a battle between himself, or Gralty and Mike Kelly. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Ooh, and Morsdorf, or excuse me, Marty Jeffries doing a nice 180 there, or 360 rather.
And actually, just in case for those of you wondering, on Tuesday, November 10th, you can watch the University of Cincinnati Bearcats face North Carolina State at 5 p.m. on ESPN. So check out your local listings for that.
I will not be doing that.
Coach Mick Cronin is looking forward to this season here, and he's apparently has a Twitter account as well. I'm going to get off this website and focus back on Jerry Morsdorf finally trying to pass Lance Snyder as we're into 17 minutes left. It looks like he's trying to do it.
And he's not going to because he had to get off the throttle, lost some momentum to see if the draft is enough to try and get him past. Ooh, he's going to get alongside. Let's see if he can be brave under braking into turn 1. Now he's falling back a bit, so I don't think he'll be able to do it.
Yeah, but if he goes wide and forces Lance to go narrow, then maybe Lance will run wide going here through turn 1. He did a little bit, but not enough for Jerry to do anything about it.
Yep, it did do the right. Lance did kind of do the right thing, but Morsdorf was a little bit too far back, and didn't quite have the momentum. But he got through turn 3 quite nicely. Lance sticking to the inside. Morsdorf taking a little bit of a later apex there. You can see he gets a great run out of the corner, gets up to the rear wing of Snyder, but then can't do anything going into turn 6. Let's see what his run is like on the oval section. Get in the draft. There you go. That's better. That's how you'll catch up to him. Draft seems to be working quite well. Ooh, he's going to try and go around the outside here. They are side by side. Nope. Nope, not going to work.
Oh.
Get in. Oh, that's too bad.
He actually did something really good there, and let's face it, he blew it there. What he did was he forced Lance to take the inside, which made a much slower entry. Had he braked just a hair sooner to the proper length of the corner, he would have got a huge run out of that. As you can see, Marty Jeffries in the McLaren going through the same corner. He would have got a huge run through here, and probably would have easily slingshot around him coming through this section of the track. But we've got 15 minutes left, still have other opportunities to make that happen.
Yep, still plenty of chances left. Or you could, I'm actually going to do a little bit of bragging here. I don't normally do that. You could do an outside pass there going into turn 8, like I managed to pull off in the 2.4 hours of Daytona in the McLaren this year.
You could do that, you know. If
it was pretty fun. I was a little surprised that it actually worked out, but it was fun.
I think I tried to do that. Oh, hey, good.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think I tried to do that in the DP in the 24-hour, but didn't realize that I was allowed to do one reset and ended up retiring my car for no reason.
Luckily, my pass attempt worked out, and there was no need to have to do a reset.
I ended up with a little tank slapper there and just kind of touched the wall on the inside, but I had some damage, and I didn't want to do the remaining like 2+ hours for. Which was not look good. Okay, well, let's see. He's got a good run here. He's got a really good run here. Before he wasn't using a lot of the draft. Now he's using a ton of the draft.
But he's getting out of the throttle. Let's see if he can get it. Well, there's no GT cars to hold Snyder up. But let's see if he gets a. Ooh, no, I was gonna say see if he gets a nice run coming out of the bus stop. Bobbled a little bit under braking going in, but he came out quite nicely. He's got a good run. I should have stayed in the draft a bit further. Yeah, see, he's getting a little bit nervous, I think, when he gets close. I think he must lose where Snyder is at, because then he kind of bobbles up high, close to the wall. He's still closer than he was, I think, the last time. But again, he's going to be on the outside, and falls in behind Snyder going into turn 1. We had a great run coming out of turn 1, though, but nowhere for him to get past. Again, nice line going through turn 3. Would have had a run if he'd not for that oversteer exiting the corner. I think Morsdorf seems pretty quick compared to Snyder, or he's taking a better line around the racetrack than Snyder. You can see he's on the brakes mid-corner there to not run in the back of him, so it just needs to find that right opportunity.
Oh, yeah, getting a good view of Jerry's paint scheme there, so... Now, it's a tough corner. As you're just coming out there, that turn 6 going on to the oval there, it is so hard to put the power down. You start in first gear. It's a tight corner as it is, so that's hard enough to put the power down. But then you've got the transition as you're accelerating basically in second gear up the transition to the banking, and it's just super slippery and so hard to do. And very shallow entry there, but good run through the corner, it looks like. Very Germanish helmet as well for Jerry.
I wonder if there is some German heritage in his background.
Morsdorf seems kind of German, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sounds a bit like Dusseldorf, which is a fairly well-known city in Deutschland.
Yep, that's where my cousin lives right now, playing for the local hockey team there, the German Elite League. Yep. They are terrible. Also, my cousin got suspended for 6 games for headbutting some guy in the face. So he has
very hockey-like. Yeah, very hockey-like.
It was such a weak headbutt too. It was like a nuzzle basically. It's not like he swung his head at the guy. He just let in at him head first. And I guess being in Germany, even though the guy's from Windsor, Ontario, which is like halfway between me and Anthony almost, he fell down and grabbed his face as you would expect in Italian soccer, if you will. Well, he's backed off a little bit here, so let's see if he's able to get a run through the chicane coming up. Yeah, this is a big chess match right now because he's been behind him for so long. Lance kind of knows his tricks.
Gets a great run coming out of the bus stop, though. He's going to be alongside just on the oval section, as long as he doesn't lose too much speed here up high. Hopefully, this is his opportunity. No, he must be running more downforce because see Snyder pulling in front without any drafting help. And, now he's kind of pulling his way back. So, yeah, despite that extra good run he had coming out of the bus stop, wasn't close when they got down to turn 1.
Well, the traffic is going to be huge right here. This is going to be Jerry's chance if he can play it right.
Did a nice job there going through turn 1. Didn't work out quite as well as he would have hoped. You can see there's a bit of a gap between himself and Snyder, but there's one more GT car. Ford GT of... who is that? Oh, gets well out of the way. Whoever that is. And too far back here to make anything happen as they come up to the bus stop. So it's all going to be about getting another great run coming, or exiting the bus stop rather. And again, I think he... oh, there's traffic here. Let's see how this works out. Oh, he's so close.
Not going to both up there.
Yeah, he was so close to Snyder. He wasn't able to get a run coming out. Again, he's very close as they make their way going to the tri-oval section of the oval, but I think Morrisdorf must be running a bit more downforce than Snyder because he can get alongside, and then once he pulls out from behind Snyder, he starts to lose a little bit of ground on him. So maybe that is why he seems a bit quicker through the infield section, and then he loses a little bit on the straights. Yeah, see, another good exit there from Morrisdorf. Closes the gap a little bit more. Nice line here through turn 3. This gets him a much better exit than Snyder down as they make their way through that turn 4 kink and then turn 5. But nothing he can really do here just because it's such a fast-flowing section. Oh, big crash there. Oh, and nowhere for Burris to go.
Marty Jeffries got launched.
And that is that for both of those drivers.
There he lost his 5th position there to Vermont. Oh, another run here. Let's see if Morrisdorf's able to do anything. It's a little bit of the timing of the run too. They're coming to the straightaway here. That's it. You hit the run. Oh, he's lost the momentum.
Ooh, yeah.
You want to time it so just as you come off the banking is when you're making your move there, because you try to make the pass on the banking, it's just going to get stalled. And it's the Mclarens up ahead, so Snyder will get a chance to draft. Morrisdorf will draft Snyder, but then heading into turn 1, there might be a little bit of a brouhaha if they all converge in the same place. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be messy.
Well, they made their way past the GT traffic. Morrisdorf actually a bit later on the brakes this time, sticking around the outside of Snyder, but I thought he might be able to try a cutback there. Snyder was kind of in the way. Yeah. Fighting the oversteer, making his way through turn 1, held on to it nicely. But yeah, still trying to find that opportunity to try and get... ooh, oversteer! Oh, oversteer from both of them, and that is going to be the end of their battle, I assume. Take it, unless there's another mistake from Snyder. Just had even more oversteer than Lance did coming off of turn 3. And the overall race leader, Doljan Boldrin. Really haven't seen much of him because he's been about 10 seconds in front of the rest of the prototype field for most of the race.
Yep, he's got a white helmet too, so that's how you can differentiate him between Arthur Hermont and himself there. Yeah, 5 minutes was good to see Dolgen there. He's been pretty dominant in this race up to this point, so good to see some recognition for him by our sideboard director. Again, it's not a sideboard because he doesn't have a mechanicalized form, however you define a sideboard, but you get the idea.
Isn't a cyborg human head or brain with a mechanical body?
Well, not if you watch Terminator, no.
Yeah, always like a human head. Like it's like a
It's a
humanoid
cybernetic organism. It's any mix of man and machine.
Ah, okay.
Excellent.
Which is probably most commonly a human brain? Yes?
Usually, yeah.
Okay. But I guess, yeah, Terminator would be, it was machines with human cover.
Well, see, there you get into Android, because I guess technically those are androids. I think truly to be a cyborg, it needs a human brain.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I could have mixed those up.
Yeah, but couldn't it be a mechanical brain and then like human like bits?
No, that's Android then. That's I think.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting philosophical and dorky discussion that
I like it.
yeah, me too. I'm happy to be a part of it, but got 4 minutes left here, and I just say things are heating up, but they're really not. The battle between Lance and Jerry was the biggest one there, and now scanning my timing monitors. It's still the closest battle, but they're now about 3.5 seconds apart. So.
Oh, Karl Mumbauer into the pits late. Wonder if he miscalculated his fuel.
Oh, Carl.
Well, he's just been passed by Rupuin.
And he's got looks like a fairly big gap to Matthew Voigt, so he might hold on to that 9th position.
He accidentally took tires too.
Whoops, yeah, because that was a fairly lengthy pit stop. Oh no, Matthew Voigt's there. He needs to hurry up and race his way out, but he's going to get caught in the grass. Don't crit the barrier. Very slow, making his way through that narrow pit exit, and he's going to, so he loses a spot to Voigt and falls down to 10th position. John Kuzland now, who is racing with Christopher Mills. Kuzland much further back than we are used to seeing him in GTC, currently running in 15th position, or 14th rather. He's looking to get that 15th position away from Mills, who still has that very damaged rear end of the McLaren. And I don't see any traffic, so I'm not sure why Kuzlin was holding the very high upper lane there. But go back to Morrisdorf and Snyder. They've actually managed to close right back up on each other with just over 2 minutes to go. And Morrisdorf has a decent run coming out of the bus stop. But he hits that brick wall. See, that's why I think he's running a little bit higher downforce.
It's a massive headwind, and he's got the higher line is also. Any momentum he gets kind of slows down. But that being said,
oh, he's got a little bit of a draft helmet. Oh no, and they come together.
Indeed. Oh.
Looks like they're okay though, I think, because it wasn't a hard impact.
Yeah.
It was just it caused them to lose grip. But
Yeah, there's not even any visible damage there. They may have just gotten away with that.
yeah, and keep in mind too, like I mentioned earlier in the program, Lance and Jerry are probably two of the cleaner drivers. I mean, Lance is a former Clean Driver Award winner, and Jerry is, his corners per incident is a ridiculous number from last season. So
I think this may be their final lap, depending on when. They might have one more, depending on when Boldron crossed the timing line. Oh, he's actually looks like just behind him, I think. Yeah, I think he's just behind them, so probably have one more lap to go then. Let's see what kind of run Morrisdorf can get out of the bus stop. He's been consistently... Ooh, he's staying low, so that means he's heading towards the pit lane, I would assume, because he's still maintaining high speed. So he's not serving a course-cutting penalty. Did he really miscalculate his fuel by 1 lap? He did, yep, he's in the pit lane. Wow, that is unfortunate there for Morrisdorf. It was such a good battle they were having. Oh, and the white flag is out, so these guys will have 1 more lap to complete.
Yeah, Jerry only lost 1 position there. Sam Dignan was the... I mean, Tim McLeish just got past him for 10, but Sam Dignan is already long since retired, so... This looks fun.
Yeah, Karl Mumbauer fighting to hold on to the last top 10 position. Looks like Mitchell Weirich is going to... Ooh, no, Karl better under braking. Let's see who catches the grass a little bit there, unsettles the car, but he manages to keep hold of it and gets around turn 1. A little bit slow, though. He's going to have to be defensive going into... Oh, he's not going to be defensive going into turn 3. So that is probably going to lose him the spot unless he can keep it around the outside. Ooh, a little bit of oversteer from Weirich. And let's see if they go side by side into the turn 4 kink. Probably not, because we're switching away between Tim McLeish and Lance Snyder. Last minute battle here on the final lap.
None of these guys just follow each other for an entire race, but now we're coming down to it, so I think Tim is going to go wide.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, I guess. And here's Christopher Mills. I don't know why we're looking at him, but hopefully he does not explode.
John Kuzlin is similar.
John Kuzlin.
He's out of fuel.
Yep, he's out of fuel.
Mills out of fuel. Don't pull into the pit lane. Why are you pulling into the pit lane? That was not the smartest choice. John Kuzlin will finish in front of him.
Unfortunate decision for Christopher Mills, but I don't think he realized that Dolgen was right behind him, so I think he thought he had a full lap to go.
Okay, yeah, the flag system on iRacing can be a little bit weird sometimes, so maybe he wasn't being shown the white flag. Or he was being shown a blue flag instead of a white flag, which could have caused some confusion. But Boldron crosses the start-finish line to take the win in the LMP2 category. Brian Carey takes 2nd place.
Karl Mumbauer, look at this.
Oh, he's going to get that. Let's see, yeah. He should have it as they cross the timing line. It's so close. I think he just had it, yeah.
That was cool. I don't think we've seen a close finish like that on the end of the race. We just see guys flying past the finish line. So good job for Karl to get that place back.
Oh, we did have we won't see it, though, because it's at Mosport, and we won't be doing that one. But I had a super close finish there with this guy right there, Mike Young. Well, not this guy. The guy we were just looking at, Mike Young.
Hey, it's
we
John
had a great
Middleton
battle.
All right, now we know.
John Middleton, that's who that was. So yes, Brian Carey, 2nd place LMP2, then Andy Fuller, Daniel Santos having a good opening race here in ISRA, finishing 4th. Then the number 80 of Arthur Hermont, Victor Beltran coming in 6th position. I think that is probably one of the best finishes.
Crosses the finish line. And takes the win in GT3.
Yep, a bunch more cars finishing in LMP2, and there's the last car we were waiting for.
Well, in HPDs, the points are pretty simple because they are just from this one race. So Dolgen Boldrin 1, Brian Carey is 2nd, Andy Ford 3rd, Daniel Santos 4th, Arthur Hermont 5th, Victor Beltran 6th, Jeremy Burr 7th, Bryn Browse 8th, Lance Snyder 9th, Tim McLeish takes the 10th spot. And over in GT3, Daniel Verness with the win, Timothy Stoll in 2nd, Todd Carver 3rd, Daniel Gralti 4th, Mike Kelly 5th, Mike Young 6th, Kurt Gross 7th, Luke Poulin 8th, Matthew Voigt 9th, and Karl Mumbauer taking that 10th spot by a hair.
So yeah, it was a good first race. I was very impressed with the action, especially that first half hour was just action-packed, and Arthur Hermont is really bringing her back into the pits here. He does not want to mess around. He's got things to do after this race. So,
well, Brian, where are we racing next?
We are racing at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, a new addition to the iRacing lineup, and It's the home of the Canadian Grand Prix, and not really my home track, but very excited to see that. Then we've got the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course coming up after that. Watkins Glen, all 60-minute races, and on to the Silverstone Historic Circuit for our next Enduro. You can see the rest of the schedule there. We've got a 12-race season ending a week and a bit before Christmas, so you are interested in joining with us. We've only done 2 races so far. We've got Mid-Ohio coming up next, so visit israleague.com and look into joining us for the rest of Season 12. It is going to be a good one.
I think I need to figure out why the thing keeps only writing up until the last letter. Oh well. Alright, well thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to Brian and Anthony for your outstanding commentary. To ISRA League, its admins, and its racers for making this all possible. And finally to Z1 Simwheel, the official sponsor of the Grand Touring Championship. We'll see you again next week at Montreal. New track for iRacing, so it should be really exciting for us. Have a good night.